Jillian Trumper has had many titles in her life. Mayor of Port Alberni, MLA, coroner, even Freeman of the city. But long before that, long before her volunteer involvement in pretty much every aspect of her community's life, she was a young nursing student, a student who met Michael Trumper for the very first time.
He was a medical student at Westminster Hospital in London, and I started my nursing as a student there. So
their paths seemed destined to cross. And in 1959, when Dr. Trumper moved to Canada, well, Jillian made the move as well, the two of them eventually settling on Vancouver Island in the Alberni Valley.
You would probably see him as the old-style general practitioner who liked to deliver his own babies, and so that's why we came here, because he was able to do that sort of practice, which was important to him. So I still have people come up and say, you know, he was my doctor and I miss him.
The man his patients miss is the same one that Jillian and their 4 children miss, a patient-loving father and husband. But that was all to change in 1983 when Michael was diagnosed with Parkinson's, a disease that can have many complications.
He had dementia, which is possibly a small percentage Parkinson's people get. And that was a complete change in an individual. He was a very easygoing, gentle, quiet person, and he had a 180 degree. It was tough. It was really tough.
Tough on Michael, tough on his family. And for Jillian, who had worked in healthcare for most of her life, knowing what the diagnosis meant didn't make it any easier.
It's really hard. I mean, it's very easy to deal with someone else who's in trouble or, distressed or whatever. When it's your own family, it's a little different. If you're the caregiver, I mean, you do it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that was my role.
Michael reached the end of his life in November of 1997, his dementia having progressed to the point that he no longer recognized those who loved him so well. A family tragedy that strikes thousands every year.
It affects 747,000 in the last statistics in Canada. And, it affects a lot of families. It's projected that within 24 years that 1.4 million Canadians would be involved.
1.4 million Canadians. And it's to raise awareness for them that the annual investors group Walk for Alzheimer's is being held in communities across the country. In Port Alberni, the honoree for this year's walk is Jillian Trumper.
All the money goes towards not only research, but support groups into helping those families how to deal. Myself, I was affected with my father-in-law, Alec Bernaski, and it took a toll on the family.
That's why I'm doing this, because it's so important to get the awareness out there that people understand that if your father's got it, just remember what your mother's going through, and for heaven's sake, they need a helping hand.
The 2016 Port Alberni Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's is being held on May 1st at Bob Daly Stadium. Registration is at 9:30. The walk begins at 10:30. More information and pre-registration is also available online. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.